Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for the penultimate episode of the Skylanders Superchargers Supercharged series here on the channel. This is a very exciting episode because after this we have the Bandit Train and Sky to tackle, and then we're going to find out what our final score is going to be come the end of the series. Because as we all know with Supercharged, the aim of the game is not to get to the end with as many characters alive as possible, it's to get to the end with as many characters having been supercharged as possible, because whenever a Skylander ushers in the dawn of a brand new chapter, they get to be upgraded to the next version within their chamber, and they keep working their way through different versions of that character until they become supercharged. That's what's happened with Double Air Trick Happy. He managed to get his way all the way up to this supercharger form where he has in fact become supercharged, and as a result, whenever he brings in the dawn of a new chapter, we will add to the bank score, which can be used at any time to move along to the next version of whatever Skylander is currently on the Portal of Power. That being said, we're going to press first button of the game right now for skip button as we tackle the Whispering Wild, where, as we're playing as Double Air Trick Happy right now, we get to add to the bank score rather than go to his next version, because Double Air Trick Happy has been supercharged already. He can't go any further past that. Yeah, that was great pluck, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to utilise the Might of our Magnet to draw the gold to us, shall we say, you know, as they say, no gold and no glory and all that. So luckily for me, I'm gathering all of the gold and therefore all of the glory. I'm going to need it because to get the perfect 40, I'm going to have to make no mistakes moving forward whatsoever. I cannot be defeated in battle because that is the worst possible fate for a Skylander to be defeated in battle, as when that happens, they're sent all the way back to their Series 1 original form. That's what happened with Eruptor in the previous episode, but after he got set back to his original form, he got defeated in combat again, which means that every single version of Eruptor in his, chain of characters, I suppose to go as far to say, every single version of him has been reset, not just his Series 1. It is rather tragic, and we are going to get rid of that magnet right now because this section is particularly painful with the magnet having been applied to our vehicle. Anyway, that being said, let's avoid the mines and then switch out for none other than the very same character we were just talking about, as Fire is stronger here. And the final rule of the series is that whenever an element of the area pops up, I must switch out to the sky to correspond to that element. Cannot switch out again until the element of the area changes once more. So it is time for Series 1 Eruptor to give it his all. Video game, I did not give you permission to turn on my stinking magnet. Okay, so let's take these fellas out. Luckily I get a nice buff from the vehicle being of the fire element. Die, 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 die. That's what we're talking about, baby. They didn't just die, they died in a ring of fire. In a ring of fire. Now I should be careful with my singing right now because it's just too damn good that I might get copyright struck for it. But yes, Ring of Fire was one of the songs that I was considering for my new intro at one point, but in the end there just wasn't really a small clip I could take from it that could be used in a small 30-second chunk. At least with the song that I used in the end from Metallica called Fight Fire with Fire, there was a perfect chunk that I could use to kind of, you know, transition for music so that then it had a smooth run for 20 seconds straight, and on top of that it also had a rhythm to it to where cuts could be made. So overall, Fighting Fire with Fire was a better track than Ring of Fire, because Ring of Fire just didn't have what I was looking for when it came to the rhythm and the timing, for the sake of the intro. The new intro, that is. The old intro, obviously, with Billy Joel as a classic. We didn't start the fire. Once again, though, I'm going to be cautious of my singing before it winds up becoming too good and I get copyrighted for it. Why are these enemies respawning, and why did I not grab the freaking grabber when I went to go grab it? I have many questions. I demand a refund on all of the current exchanges that has led me to this moment. After all, my health has now seen better days, and I am not a big fan of these odds. But as Han Solo once said, never tell me the odds. So let's get this statue reattached, and then we can get ourselves out of here and do our magnet without further ado, and somehow avoid that attack Don't ask me how I was able to dodge that. It was definitely a pure accident, as dodging stuff like that is actually rather skillful. And me being skillful at these games is an anomaly. But I suppose we'll take what we've got as we approach a puzzle utilizing magnets. Why not, right? Here we go with a rank up. We ranked up to numero 8, where we have either Bane of Trolls or Bane of the Undead, where we're going to be choosing Trolls because neither of these are particularly useful for the levels that are coming up, but I'd still rather take out the Trolls as they are the bane of my existence. A very common phrase in this channel at the moment, that bane of my existence, but what can I say? It's a good phrase. If it ain't broke, then keep using it over and over again. That's how the saying goes, and if it wasn't, well, it is now, because I said so. Now that being said, I could really do with, first of all, the ushering in of a brand new chapter. That's awesome. Let's switch out for Series 2 Rupture without further ado as we get to move along to the next version of Rupture in his chamber. We get to move from a reset eruptor to yet another reset eruptor. How fantastic. But now with the utilization of repulsion, I can get rid of all the nasties with much more ease. Now let's also take out this vineyard to see what it has for us. It has some experience, let's go. Well, that was a quick way to get myself all the way up to level 12 if I was playing Spells Adventure right now. This character would already be maxed out in terms of its level cap. Anyway, let's use our power of repulsion to get these doors out of the way, because those doors, they are repulsive. Get them away from me. They are so incredibly ugly that I don't want them anywhere near my vicinity. How terrible the game thinking that it can put doors in my way like that, ones that look as despicable as they did. The game, it insults me with the presence of such repulsive doors. But that being said, we're going to utilize our magnet right now for this Supercharged gate to ensure that all of the treasure is attracted to us. We can't have that being ricocheted off the edge, because it's no good to us off the edge now, is it? We need it for upgrades, not you know, for it to be jettisoned straight into the never-ending abyss. Now I'm gonna have to be very careful here, because I do not want to fall in. That door is acting weird on me right now, and I do not like it. But yes, so because we take full damage in this game, falling in will not be ideal given how little health I have already. But luckily, that's what I have the power of attraction for, and in this case, I have the power of repulsion. Water, thank goodness! It couldn't have came with any better timing, because now it means I get to move along from a Series 2 Rupture who's not so upgraded to instead taking his place a Series 3 Gilgren. In sharp contrast, who is in fact fully upgraded, so that's why I say this could not have come at a better time. Let's frickin' go! And let's also be obviously attracting all the treasure to us, because that would be fantastic. But what we don't need to do, however, is that the Supercharger Vault, obviously we got it for Rupture earlier because he wanted the treasure for his upgrades, but since Gilgren here is completely maxed out in every category conceivable, instead we're just going to bypass it, save ourselves some time, because after all, this game is at its most fast-paced when you're just blazing through these levels, and that's when it's the most fun, when the game is fast-paced. After all, it is designed to be a fast-paced game, as we do have vehicles suited for Skylanders now. It'd be a bit of a waste to have vehicles and not make the game more fast-paced. So in other words, by taking away content in this game, it makes it better. We're going to avoid the content that we don't need to engage with, make the game a better game for it. This is not 100% serious, but I have to remind you, we're not tackling any sea sections or sky sections. We're instead just going to stick to the pure base game that we need to get through in order to get from the start of the game to the very end of the game, where at the end of the game, what score we have, it shall be final! That's obviously after we utilise all of our banked points that we have acquired along the way, because there's no way that Trigger Happy is going to have that much screen time in this series and have nothing to say for it. So I don't even know why I bothered walking up there, to be honest. Could have just bypassed it entirely, which seems to be my favourite activity right now, bypassing stuff. So why I didn't just continue with that is beyond me. Yes, you did, man. Okay, let's bring him straight into the ledge. Let's go. Okay, let's take out some more fools with the utilisation of the bottomless pit down there. That is a good almighty pit. I am liking that pit. And I was about to say boom there, but apparently I didn't charge it up for long enough. And now that I have charged up long enough, there are no enemies of which to commit murder against with this anchor. What a waste of an anchor. This is tragic. Not quite as tragic as, you know, what happened in the previous episode with all of the losses that we endured, but tragic all of the same. Now my question is, when are we going to get Gilgrunt upgraded to his next version? I mean, at the end of the day, this character has had a lot of screen time, much like Trick Happy, but still, he remains here with his deep dive version. Rather annoying. And what's also annoying is the dogs barking in the background. You may or may not hear that picking up on my camera. It is unclear to me. I'll know in the editing whether you hear the dogs or not. But I hear the dogs. I hear my mum and my grandmother yelling at the dogs for the barking. I hear all of that. But whether the camera's picking up is currently unknown to me. The mic in this phone is good because obviously I pick up my voice based on my proximity to the camera right now, given that I'm close enough to the camera for the mic to pick up said voice of mine. Dogs on the other hand, just because they can be heard doesn't necessarily mean the mic's picking them up because they are far enough away in proximity. We might just be in the safe zone. Anyway, we're going to grab ourselves a mod, and then, after that mod is set done, we have a Terrapin to push out for, because he is corresponding with current element of the area, an element being of the Earth element. Even though, let's take a good long look at the shark right now, and let's all admit to ourselves that a shark in the Earth element is rather unfitting. He should have been a water Skylander. Hashtag Terrapin should have been a water Skylander. Everyone's complaining about Gravegobber switching over to the water element. I'm complaining about Terrapin not being the right element to begin with. Okay, here we go. Let's just press the brake button. Why not? Because apparently I have forgotten in the last 30 seconds what all the controls are. So I'm pressing brake when I meant to press drift, because drift is the X, not the square or the triangle or any other button that is not the X. The X is purely drift, and that's about it, really. Obviously, the triangle is the tertiary or the secondary attack, and then the circle, which is one I got confused with earlier. The circle is the one that allows us to brake. Rather convenient when I need to stop. After all, that is what brake is designed to do. But at the moment, I don't need to stop, so the utilization of the circle button is that of completely unnecessary in nature. A bit like, you know, Deep Stew throughout this entire franchise. It is all incredibly unnecessary. And the circle button isn't even the best button in the video game, so why do I even bother pressing it? We all know what the best button in the video game is, that being the skip button, the triangle. The triangle is the best PlayStation button. You heard it first here, folks, from my very compelling evidence and point of view. Okay, we really need to get this over here. Bingo! We hit all the chimes, that's what we're talking about. And now let's jettison ourselves to the end of this Land of Vehicular section, where we're going to usher in the dawn of yet another brand new chapter. So it's time to move on to knock out Terrapin, the next version within Terrapin's chain, mind you. So yes, I would love to be knocking out enemies right now, but as the task easy said and done when Knockout Terrapin is at a very low treasure and level count. And here we are with the Dark Element appearing once again. Despite the fact that I haven't once placed a Dark Sky onto Portal Power, the game seems to want to keep randomly generating the Dark Element as the element of the area. I'm saying Undead here because Undead has not appeared once as the element of the area throughout this entire series, at least not once that I can remember. And it is very tragic because Undead is my favourite element of this entire cast right now, because Rollerball is involved, and Rollerball is superior. All these other characters, they are, as Soundwave once said, inferior. When Soundwave said that, he wasn't talking about Autobots and Decepticons, he was talking about Rollerball and every other Skylander. Because here is the level of every other Skylander, and here is the level of Rollerball. Anyone who thinks she's one of my top 10 favourite Skylanders, which she is, if you were to make the statement online that Rollerball is one of my top 10 favourite Skylanders, that statement would be a fact, because she is. And in fact, Rollerball being one of the best Skylanders is fact in of itself. It is not an opinion of mine. After all, my opinion is fact. That's how it goes. My opinion is the universal fact. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. That's how opinions work. I could really be doing with some food right now. That's why we got ourselves out of that situation as fast as possible, because Knockout Terrapin, in the midst of all my rambling, was about to be defeated in combat, which is the last thing we want. After all, I have a very little margin for error. I want to get a score as high as possible for the end of this series, which is going to involve my characters, hopefully, not being defeated in combat. You know, the less death, the better, generally speaking. Less death is good. Less death is very good. So, once again, let's be jettisoning ourselves off and bypassing this combat entirely because we don't need to engage. We're going to take low risk and get high rewarded for it. Yeah, here we go. Name of the game, to take low risk and get highly rewarded for it. In fact, it's not even low risk, it's no risk whatsoever because we didn't engage in combat. In fact, we don't need to engage in combat here, neither. None of this level is actually necessary combat, I believe. This entire level can be bypassed should you choose to play the game in that manner. Yes, give me all the sweet treasure. We love to see it, we do. We love to see it. Anyway, what we also love to see is something hidden back here, which I believe certainly should have been a Supercharger vault, because this is a really sneaky and hidden spot, but instead of what they hide there is a wish stone and a gem, or it could be a gem either. So it's all that work, all that effort, and you're not really rewarded for it. Not only making the traversal, but also finding it in the first place. None of that is rewarded, despite, you know, how rewarding it feels to find the secret, because it is so hidden, which is why it should be Supercharger vault. You know, really increase the satisfaction of the reward of finding that. I reckon for reward, well, I reckon the challenge would have justified for reward, given how hidden that area is. Why am I spending so long talking about a singular secret area, which is very secret in this game, and yet not that rewarding? Why am I spending so long rambling about that? Hey, I got a pad out for runtime somehow, right? I'm of course joking. These YouTube videos are not made for the purpose of monetization. In fact, the only purpose of monetization service on this channel still is to fund the giveaways. I have a very exciting giveaway coming up, which obviously you guys will get to see for the debut of the 12 Days of Skylands, which is going to begin on Monday, which means that the finale for the very next episode is going to be a part of the 12 Days of Skylands. It's going to be the second day. So that's going to make the episode extra special. Not only is it going to be the finale to this series, but it's going to be part of the 12 Days of Skylands. If that hasn't got you excited, frankly, I don't know what will. It's gotten me excited. Can't you tell from how giddy I am? The pure excitement. This is the face of an excited man right now. So let's hop into our vehicle and conclude this episode without further ado, because this episode has to be over in order for the next episode to begin. That is how episodes work, after all. Oh dear, I am dying. I repeat, I am dying. Luckily, this is what I have the power of repulsion for. Thank you, repulsion. I am glad that I am so repulsive to these enemies right now. I've never been so glad to be this repulsive before. Die, 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 die. Thank you. Can one of you be so kind as to leave behind a wrench? No, no, you cannot. That's annoying and stupid and annoying. You know, just all of the above. Ow. Well, so much about not getting defeated in combat and already thinning our very slight margin for error. Clearly, not dying in nightmare mode was fucking asking for too much. So let's get this piece of garbage off a portal right now. In fact, we're not going to get him off a portal. We're going to see the open window right now. We're going to throw him out of it. And we're going to replace him with Super Gold Pop Fizz. We really need to make our way through different versions of this character. And hopefully, he's not going to die. Though that is asking for a lot, I must admit.
10 seconds later.
I really should have foreseen that coming. Oh, the joys of reset characters on Nightmare mode. But that being said, now that I have truly screwed over my chances at a good score in this series, I'm just going to do what anyone should do when in doubt, and that is switch out for Double Dare Trick Happy. Why I didn't just do this in the first place, it is beyond me. But now if he dies, I'm going to be extra annoyed. Not just annoyed, I'm going to be annoyed with a little extra on top. But that's what Trick Happy has a second life for. Will you guys just like die? Okay, there's the wrench I was looking for. Jeez, that took its time to show up now, didn't it? But yes, there is, our chances of getting that 40 score are basically 0 now. Right when you thought all of the losses we had so far in this series were enough, you thought wrong. Nightmare Mode still had another couple of tricks up its sleeve when it came to mercilessly killing off my characters, or, you know, defeating them, so to say. Now get these into the correct slots. Bingo! And bongo! Ooh, there we go. That is 3 for 3. Yeah, normally I don't have many problems with Mystical Vault. In fact, I believe in the Noir Lock we didn't even have any defeats. But we also weren't switching out for characters that were level 1 every single time. I seriously thought the Super Gold Pop Fizz would have been alright, so that then we could go to his next version, which would have been his Fizzy Frenzy version. But apparently, going through Pop Fizz's chain of characters, that was asking too much. Like a lot of things in this series, it was asking too much. Well, it's not asking too much on the other hand. It is press and best mini game, but skip button. Let's get this out of here as fast as ASAP, because I want to end this episode, okay? I want to get this tragedy out of here. I want to get it off my screen. This is awful. Every variety of awful. It's not even awful, because once I above that, it is awful. This is an awful time to lose all my characters. But hey, we still have Double Dare Trick Happy at least, and so long as Double Dare Trick Happy is alright, the enemies are screwed. It's like Star Wars, you know. In Star Wars, so long as R2-D2 is alive, the bad guys, they are screwed. It doesn't matter how many of the good guys die, so long as R2-D2 is around, the good guys are gonna win. R2-D2 is just too overpowered, the enemy, the bad guys can't handle it. Okay, time to defend more of the academy. Just all of you folks really need to go right now. And we boom, cannon fire. Yeah, time to actually make use of an attack which normally is of no use. And boom, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Oh, what do you know? Even Buzz is really into it right now. That's what he's talking about. Yeah, there we go. Explosions for the win. Yeah, explosions for the win. Because, you know, explosions are pretty much always a win. As are Ring of Fires. We were singing Ring of Fire earlier after all. So Ring of Fire is a very appropriate theme for this episode, I suppose. Which may or may not be called Ring of Fire. It might be called the Awful Ring of Fire. To bring together the whole awfulness of this episode. And contrast it directly with the gloriousness of a Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire. I love how deep the vocals are in that song. That's what makes it so memorable. And what also will be memorable is the next episode, which will be part of 12 Days of Scars. But until then, to see us through, we have an outro to get into without further ado. I cannot, in good conscience, end off this video without first thanking all of my incredible channel members whose continued support help make these videos possible. Without them, these videos would be near impossible to make, so from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate every last one of them. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, there are plenty of options on screen now to explore, and please consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. On that note, this video is coming to an end, so thank you so much as always for watching. Until the next video arises, peace!